Larry Bird may have just shown everyone the truth we did not know about LeBron. And the NBA fans online are going totally nuts. In case you missed it, Larry Bird was in an interview and got asked who was better between Kobe and LeBron. And just like a light switch flipped, he got mad fast and said, "This."
You must be joking. We're done here.
But that is only the start. He went even deeper and broke it all down and even showed some secret stuff that happened behind the scenes with Kobe and LeBron when he was alive. Trust me, this is some very wild stuff. You have to see why Larry Bird snapped when that guy dared to ask him to compare Kobe Bryant to LeBron James. He was not mad because he hates LeBron. He was angry because the question itself was not right. It was rude to the league, to the legends, and most of all to Kobe. Bird grew up in a world where being great was built through pain, not online ads. You do not call yourself the best and go on Instagram to show it. Kobe did not do that. MJ did not do that. Real stars let their work talk for them. But guess who has been trying to force the league to call him the best? Well, see for yourself.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For so many reasons.
That is a guy who builds his own story, plans how things look, and handles the news before he even thinks about the real grind on the court. Kobe shows us what it means to be obsessed, to give up everything, and to suffer for the win.
We all can be masters at our craft, but you have to make a choice. What I mean by that is the inherent sacrifices that come along with that.
Every film meeting, every early morning grind, and every tough defensive job no one else took. That is what made him scary. You could see it in how he made the other guys sweat before they even got the ball. LeBron, on the flip side, always looks for the perfect spot. He wants to be cozy. He wins in set-up spots where the team works for him, not him for the team. That is not hoop greatness. That is just sales. Reports came out after the talk that Bird got mad because the news keeps pushing LeBron into talks made for warriors. Not just scorers or runners. Warriors. Warriors like Kobe, MJ, and Bird himself. These are the men who made people scared to step on the wood with them. Forcing LeBron into that talk is like comparing apples to oranges. So, the rage was not about the person. It was just about the truth. Some fights do not exist for talk. They exist for facts. And here is the fact. Kobe Bryant is a warrior. LeBron James is a business. One shows fear, drive, and giving up. Everything. The other plays hoops the way bosses run a sales plan. And that is where it gets fun because Larry Bird's brush off of the Kobe and LeBron question was not just some old man complaining. This is a guy whose word has weight the way a huge forward carries a whole squad. So, to see why Bird has the power to say this, you need to look at the life and job that made him. Bird joined the NBA in 1979 with the Boston Celtics in the most tough era the NBA has ever known, and he ruled it. See, these were the good old days in the NBA when hitting was fine. Big men stood in the paint like stone walls, and guards like Bird and Magic Johnson had to fight for every inch just to get a clear look. He played through hurts that today's stars would miss weeks for. Like in the 1985 playoffs against Philly, where he popped his shoulder out in Game 2. And he kept going and ended with 20 points and 10 boards. In case you do not hear what I just said, the man popped out his whole shoulder and went ahead to finish the game with 20 points and 10 boards. He was not just facing some random players either. I am talking about men like Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with that skyhook and 7-foot frame, Julius Erving, and of course the best, Michael Jordan. Move ahead a bit, and Bird was not just living. He became a coach. He coached against Kobe, against Shaq, and later started judging talent as a boss. He saw Kobe put in the work from the early grinds to the hoop film meetings, and that warrior, Mamba, mind. And he saw LeBron, too. Of course, the clips, the drives, dunks, and the stats. But here's the gap. LeBron has always been more of a star than a hoop player, if you see what I mean. Everything is set up and fixed to please the news, and Bird saw through that too. And let us be real, Bird does not need to hype anyone. He is not out here trying to get clicks or web trends. He does not have to sell Kobe or use LeBron for fame, like LeBron fans say about every single person, who does not agree with them. Bird has just always been that honest. He is one of those guys who say what they think and think what they say. So when Bird tossed LeBron aside, he was basically saying, This is not even a race. Bird played through the most physical time in the NBA and has seen how icons are made. And he has been on both sides of the floor. But here is where Bird actually broke that whole weird matchup into bits. When he was asked in that talk who he would take between Kobe and LeBron, most people surely looked for a soft answer. Maybe a stop, maybe being careful. But Bird, he just laid it out.
But if you want to have fun like I did with Bill Walton, you play with LeBron.
Really?
It'd been probably more fun to play with LeBron. But if you want to win and win and win, it's Kobe.
And honestly, that one line said more than any podcast or story ever could. Think about it. When Bird said fun, he was talking about LeBron's game. The flashy dunks, the highlight clips, the social media bits, the stuff that looks easy. It is fun to watch, sure. But that's all it is. Then there is the win part. That is Kobe through and through. All the grinds, the tough defensive jobs no one else wanted. The games he played hurt, sometimes with broken fingers or torn tissue. He took the last shot every time, even when the odds were against him. That is what made him scary. That is what made him a warrior. Bird was not saying LeBron could not win. He was saying LeBron was not built for that kind of non-stop do-or-die mind. LeBron's strength has always been his spot, managing news and playing in the best setups. Kobe just lived hoops, and everyone near him knew it. That is why that line hit so hard. Bird did not even need to fight or look at stats. Personally, I think this is the silliest 20-year fight ever, and it got summed up by Bird into one perfect, honest line. Kobe showed hoops at its rawest. LeBron is all camera and lights. And in the eyes of old-school stars like Bird and real NBA fans, that gap ended the fight for good. Kobe never made himself for fame or power. He made himself like the Warriors. In fact, his whole hoop life came from watching Michael Jordan. And I do not mean easy watching either. I am talking about an obsessed level of study.
Like, is Michael Jordan a friend of yours?
He's a good mentor, man. He's like a big brother.
He is, okay.
Yeah.
Kobe did not just watch MJ clips. The guy looked at foot spots, shoulder tilts, and how Jordan trapped the defense 3 moves early. He would replay the same play over and over just to see why it worked. It was wild in the best way possible. People forget that Kobe found Jordan himself in the late 90s. He asked him things that most players were too proud to ask. How do you make space without speed? How do you tilt a defender's balance? How do you make the same move look new every time?
His technique was flawless. I wanted to make sure my technique was just as flawless.
Been down at half court and he wanted to know how, when I turn around on my jump shot, how to feel the defense. I told him you should feel the defense with your leg.
Actually, Jordan later told us Kobe was the only player who ever really pushed him mentally because Kobe did not want praise. He wanted secrets. And it was not just Jordan. Magic Johnson, the face of Showtime himself, said out loud, Kobe was the closest thing to Michael Jordan the game ever made.
Really break it down for us, because it seems like Kobe is the closest thing we've ever seen to MJ.
Molly, you're absolutely right.
And in case you are one of the fresh young NBA fans, let me give you some background. Magic played against Bird, built a winner, and knew exactly what title-level hoops looked like. He is one of the top 5 best NBA stars of all time. And some even say he is the best Laker ever. When a man like that puts Kobe in that line, it is not just memories. It is respect. Allen Iverson went even deeper and said that after Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant was the best star of all time.
I've never seen nobody as competitive like him, but Mike. That's it. Like, when people talk about, your favorite players and best players in the world, I say Mike and I say Kobe. And then everybody else.
Coming from a guy who guarded Kobe and actually played him, that means everything. What really sealed it for Bird, though, was how Kobe acted when things got hard. Kobe wanted the toughest defensive job every night. He asked for it. He took pride in guarding the other team's best star, even when it meant using energy he could have used to score. And then there was the way Kobe handled big shots. When games got tight and the heat was wild, most guys were looking to move the ball and avoid being the one to blame if it went wrong. Kobe was the opposite. He wanted the ball in those moments, even with double teams coming and the whole gym knowing he was shooting. Not because it was the easiest path, but because he felt it was his job. Larry Bird lived in those moments during his own career. so he saw that mind right away. People love to talk about stats now, but Bird came from a time where your job as a star was to take the heat so your team did not have to. Kobe did that for 20 years. He was ready to look bad, miss shots, get hated on, and still ask for the ball the very next play. And this is where the self-made grind comes in. Kobe did not need coaches to push him. He did not need systems built near him. He punished himself into being great. His old teammates have talked about how they would walk into practice and meet Kobe, who was there hours before everyone else, putting in the time and the work. Bird also knew something a lot of fans ignore. Talent by itself does not last. The league is full of guys who were very gifted and still faded out because they never got obsessed with getting better. You can think about someone like Tracy McGrady, who had wild talent and smooth, easy scoring. But it was over way faster than it should have been. Kobe saw that happening near him and refused to be that guy. That is why he never got cozy. Every single year he added something to his game. One year it was footwork, another year it was spin moves. Later on it was angles, timing, and patience because his speed was fading. Even near the end of his career, when his body was clearly breaking down, he was still growing. So when people ask why Bird acted the way he did, this is the answer. He saw himself in Kobe. He saw Jordan. He saw that same will to suffer in quiet and let the results talk. But if you really want to see why the real NBA icons like Larry Bird side with Kobe so easily, you have to see the era he survived. Not just a story, he literally survived. Kobe joined the NBA in 1996, and the league he stepped into was nothing like what LeBron saw in 2003, and totally nothing like today. This was a league made to make scorers feel bad. See, the first thing is that hand-checking was legal until the 2004-2005 year. Until 2004, defenders could put an arm on you, move you, bump you off your spots, and make every move feel like work. Guys like Bruce Bowen, Ron Artest, Doug Christie, and Tayshaun Prince were not guarding to just watch. Their only goal was to tire you out, and the paint was full of real tough guys too. Guys like Shaq, Tim Duncan, KG, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and Yao Ming. You did not just drive to the hoop back then and look for an easy shot. If you went to the rim, you were getting hit with elbows, shoulders, and hard fouls. The kind of hits that would be a huge foul today were just normal defense back then. Just look at the 2004 finals. The Pistons did not care about Kobe's name or highlight reels. They trapped him, hit him, dared him to take hard shots, and lived with the results. That time did not save stars. It showed their weak spots. Another thing is that there was no resting like we have in this new era. I cannot tell you how many games LeBron has missed because of resting. Kobe usually played over 40 minutes a night, every night for many years. Sitting out was not really a thing then. As long as you could walk, you showed up and handled it. No excuses. And that is when you really see how tough Kobe was. In 2009, the man played a whole year with a broken finger on his shooting hand and still got 26.8 points a game and led the Lakers to a title. Then at the 2010 finals against Boston, his knees were gone. But he fought through Game 7 and had 15 boards in one of the ugliest, most physical finals anyone has ever seen. And then there is that Spurs game in February 2016. Kobe's finger literally bent the wrong way. It looked totally broken. But instead of crying, he just walked to the bench, let his trainer, Gary Vitti, snap it back, and went right back in like his finger was not bending 90 degrees a few minutes before.
Kind of tell us about that.
He dislocated his finger, and it can be really, really difficult depending on the dislocation back into place. And then as soon as it goes in, he was gone. Like I patted him on the head, like, okay, it's going to be okay. Next thing I know, he was gone. That in and of itself showed the toughness and the tenacity of Kobe Bryant.
Move ahead a few years to 2013 against Golden State. He tears his Achilles in the middle of the game. Most players would have been rolled away on a bed right then, but Kobe calmly stood up, hit both free throws, and only walked off when his body finally said no.
So Kobe Bryant cannot continue. But he's going to shoot the free throws.
That is just who he was. Pain did not stop him. It was his fuel. Now, just a year later, take a look at LeBron. This dude was playing and all of a sudden he left the court mid-game because of cramps.
on the bench as well. So good crossover by James, and on the landing, immediately cramps up.
Doris?
Mike, I continue to use this handheld thermometer.
And people seriously want to match him with Kobe. That is not even close to the same level of giving up or being tough. Kobe played through hurts that would make LeBron quit in a second. LeBron is playing hoops in a way that has made things so easy for these guys. Let us just do a small test. Put LeBron into Kobe's time and honestly ask yourself, would he still have ruled? Well, I can tell you for free, he would not. He would not even have been top 5 in that time. But it is not just the staying power and grit. What truly set Kobe apart from everyone else was not just skill. It was the mind games, the way he made the other guys feel on the floor. In a talk, Wade even spoke about it.
So I'm walking with Kobe through the Olympic Village, and this is when I realized he was at a different level than I. This could speak 9 different languages. He spoke to everybody in their native tongue.
If you are a true Kobe fan, you know that Kobe's shot choices were wild on purpose. He would take the shot everyone else thought was a bad idea. Not because he was messy, but because he wanted to break your spirit. Defenders could watch him for hours, and still, you never knew exactly what he would do next. LeBron is gifted, but fear, no, not really. He is a pro at controlling things, and that routine lets the other team plan for him. Defenders know what is coming, and coaches can build a wall around him. That is why anyone with real knowledge of the game sees what Kobe brought to the floor. He was not just great, he was scary. The kind of player who made you doubt every single move. I mean, Shaq literally called him the best player the Lakers ever had.
Kobe is the greatest Laker ever.
And that mental edge is what set Kobe apart from almost everyone else in NBA history. Honestly, Kobe was better at most things, if not all, than LeBron. Whoever started this fight has to be one bold person, because Kobe's mid-range game, footwork, fadeaways under heat, and power to take over a game at the end alone are not matched. LeBron is fast and flashy, but if we are talking warrior heart, the fear factor, and winning when it truly matters, Kobe wins every single time. And the numbers do not lie. Let us start with the scoring. Kobe's best was 81 points in one game, while LeBron has 61. And it is not just the total, it is how Kobe made it all look so smooth, like art. LeBron's game is all about power, space, and running the floor. And yeah, he is strong. I will give him that. But Kobe built his points from skill, obsession, and pure grind. And the steady work is wild. Kobe had 122 games with 40 or more points and 26 games with 50 or more, including the playoffs. While LeBron had 79 games with 40 or more points and just 15 games with over 50. And a lot of Kobe's years came before the league changed the rules for scorers, before super teams, and before all the fast play gain stars get today. Kobe made the all-defensive team 12 times. LeBron did so only 5 times. That is the gap between, yeah, he can guard, and, oh man, I am truly scared to touch this guy. Kobe was a nightmare for anyone stepping on the wood against him. Even if all we have been talking about all day has not sold you on who is better. Step back and look at how their names were built, and you start to see the huge gap between Kobe and LeBron. LeBron came into the league with the world already sold on him. The chosen one, they called him. And everyone from ESPN to Nike to the NBA itself had already put money in the story before he even put on a jersey. They wanted a famous star, someone who could sell shirts, fill gyms, and rule TV ratings. And he fit that perfectly. LeBron's greatness was boxed and pre-sold. By the time he had his first 30-point triple-double in the playoffs, the world was already set to push him. And that is really all he is, a product, a showman. But Kobe's road was nothing like that. He jumped straight from high school at 17 into a league that did not owe him anything. People booed him as a new kid. Even when he put up 26 points against Denver, even when he won MVP later, he still got booed and had to fight for his respect.
The star of stars of the greatest players in the world was the 2002 MVP, Kobe Bryant.
Forget the pre-written scripts and the massive media hype. Kobe Bryant didn't have a PR machine shouting his name. He earned every bit of respect through pure sweat and a terrifying obsession with the game. Compare that to LeBron James, who walked into a league that handed him the keys to the kingdom from day one. With powerhouses like Clutch Sports behind him, LeBron didn't just play in the system, he bent it until it broke. We've seen coaches fired and rosters gutted just to suit his needs. Kobe? He never had that luxury. He had to battle through every defensive scheme and every brutal adjustment the league threw his way, mastering them all without asking for a shortcut. That's why a legend like Larry Bird saw the truth instantly. While LeBron constantly needs a narrative to remind us of his greatness, like that cringe-worthy clip of him crowning himself the GOAT, Kobe simply lived the game. From the moment he stepped into the Lakers facility in '96, he wasn't looking for comfort. He was hunting for mastery, regardless of who hated him for it. LeBron's career, however, has been one long media circus. From the pathetic decision in 2010 to his questionable stance on China and the blatant nepotism of forcing Bronny into the NBA, a pattern emerges. LeBron's legacy feels manufactured and carefully curated. Kobe never needed a script. Even after retiring, Kobe's impact was organic, focusing on genuine community work and youth sports without the branding noise. He even conquered Hollywood with an Oscar, achieving a level of cultural immortality LeBron can only dream of. LeBron has influence, but it lacks that raw, authentic soul. It all leads back to Larry Bird's brutal honesty. If you want a show, watch LeBron. But if you want a winner, a warrior, and true greatness, Kobe was the only choice. Like, share, and subscribe to Basketball Pulse.